The locker room was empty until it wasn't. I thought I was alone, about to send a message I could never take back. To him, to the guy I'd been hiding feelings for since freshman year. But when he walked in, when he locked the door behind him, everything I feared and everything I wanted collided, and nothing was ever the same again. The locker room was empty until it wasn't. I sat on the bench, phone in hand, heart punching my ribs. My thumbs hovered over the screen, trembling. I had written the message 5 times already, deleted it every time. I think about you more than I should. To him, to Lucas Hayes, team captain, star player, the guy nobody dared to mess with. I shouldn't have thought about him like that. I definitely shouldn't have texted him, but I did. Or I was about to. Then the door creaked. I froze. Lucas stepped in, towel over his shoulder, hair damp, chest rising slow and steady, like he'd just finished showering. He stopped when he saw me. His eyes dropped to the phone in my hand. I panicked and clicked the screen off. Too late. He'd seen enough. He didn't speak, didn't frown, didn't walk away. He reached behind and twisted the lock shut. My stomach dropped. He walked toward me, each footstep thudding louder than it should. I didn't move. I couldn't. He stopped a few inches away. No smile, no anger. Just that unreadable look he always wore when we lost a close game. I waited for him to say something, to ask me what I was doing, or maybe tell me to leave. But instead, he reached out and gently took the phone from my hand. My body locked up. He looked down at the screen, the draft still open. I think about you more than I should. He read it, looked at me. Is that true? He asked, voice low. I nodded, couldn't trust my mouth to work. He stared at me for a moment longer, then handed the phone back, turned, unlocked the door, and walked out. And just like that, he was gone. I sat there for 10 minutes, maybe more, frozen, burning, terrified. I'd never come out to anyone. Not really. I didn't even know what I was, not fully. I just knew that every time Lucas walked into a room, I forgot how to breathe. I thought that would be the end of it, that he'd ignore me forever, or worse, tell someone. But the next day, nothing. No weird glances, no whispers. Lucas acted like nothing happened. At practice, he called out plays, joked with the guys, ran drills like usual. Except, he looked at me. Just once. Long enough for me to notice. And during water break, he tossed me a bottle without being asked. You're pushing harder today, he said, almost like a compliment. I like that. It was the first time he'd said more than 2 words to me outside of a game. Then came the text. Late at night, unknown number. Was that message really about me? No name, no emoji. Just that. I stared at it for 30 minutes before typing one word. Yes, no reply. But the next morning I found an energy bar taped to my locker. No note, just that. Things got, weird after that. Lucas didn't bring up the message, ever. But suddenly he was walking next to me after practice, sitting a little too close in the dining hall. During warm-ups, he corrected my stance. During drills, our hands brushed and stayed brushing. He was everywhere and nowhere, all at once. And I couldn't breathe right when he was around, but I didn't want to leave either. One evening after everyone else had left, I stayed to shoot. Needed to clear my head. The court was quiet, the lights humming above. Lucas walked in. You ever think about starting? He asked out of nowhere. I blinked. Coach doesn't even know I exist. He walked over, took the ball from me, bounced it once, then passed it back. I do. Our eyes met, and suddenly the room felt like it was holding its breath. He stepped closer, reached out, but stopped mid-motion, pulling his hand back like it burned. I shouldn't be here, he muttered, then left. I stood there with the ball in my hands and a heart that couldn't figure out if it was breaking or hoping. That weekend we traveled for a tournament. 4 schools, 2 nights, 1 hotel. Room assignments went up. Room 206. Noah Foster, Lucas Hayes. I nearly dropped my duffel. He didn't say anything when he saw the list, just nodded and grabbed his key card. When we got to the room, there was only 1 bed. He shrugged. It's fine. We slept on opposite sides. No words, but I couldn't sleep. I could feel him there, just inches away. And then it happened. In the dark under the covers, his hand found mine. Slow, careful. Our fingers touched, then laced together. He didn't say anything. He didn't let go. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel afraid of what I wanted. Lucas let go before the sun came up, rolled over. By the time I opened my eyes, he was already dressed, standing by the window, scrolling on his phone like nothing had happened. He didn't say good morning. I didn't ask why. At breakfast, he sat across the room, didn't glance my way, didn't speak to me. By noon, I started to wonder if the night before had even happened. Maybe I'd imagined the way his fingers had curled into mine. Maybe I dreamed it. After our second game, the team celebrated at a burger place across from the hotel. Everyone was loud, riding the wind like a high. I sat at the edge of the table nursing a soda. Across from me, Lucas laughed at something Rico said. Then someone leaned over and nudged him. "Yo, you still seeing that cheerleader? Madison?" Lucas shrugged. "That was months ago. Anyone new?" He shook his head. "Not really." He didn't look at me. He didn't need to. I felt it, like a crack down the middle of my chest. Back at the hotel, I curled up with my sketchbook. I wasn't even drawing, just pressing the pencil to the page, hoping something would come out. Lucas walked in, quiet. He sat beside me on the bed, looked down. The drawing was simple. 2 silhouettes, holding hands under a sky. He stared at it for a long time. His hand hovered near mine, close but not touching. "Did you draw that for me?" he asked. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. After we got back to campus, I thought maybe things would be different. I was wrong. At practice, Lucas kept his distance. No more water bottles. No more quiet words. No more glances. He didn't ignore me, but he stopped seeing me. Then one afternoon, I saw him across the quad, laughing with his friends. Madison was next to him, hand on his arm, head tilted toward his shoulder. They weren't kissing, but they didn't have to. When he saw me looking, he dropped his gaze, like he was ashamed or afraid, like he knew it was killing me. I skipped practice the next day. Coach texted, "Said everything okay?" I lied, said I had food poisoning. Truth was, I was sick, just not in the way he thought. I stayed late in the art studio that night, alone. The lights were low. I kept sketching his hand, over and over, like I could make sense of the way it had held mine. I told myself not to cry, but I did. Then I heard footsteps. I didn't look up. Lucas stood there, quiet, watching. "You weren't at practice." I wiped my sleeve across my eyes. "Did you come to scold me or check on me?" "I don't know," he stepped in. "I just came." I turned to face him. My hands were shaking, voice brittle. "Why are you doing this?" He blinked. "Why did you hold my hand that night? Why did you text me? Why did you let me fall for something you were never going to choose?" His mouth opened, then closed. "I'm scared," he said finally. "Okay, I've never felt like this. I don't know how to be this. My whole life, I've been who everyone wanted me to be." I swallowed. "You don't get to disappear on me just because you're scared." He looked like he'd been slapped. "I was scared too," I said, voice rising, "but I still showed up. I didn't run." He didn't answer. I stood, grabbed my bag. "If you're not going to choose me," I said, "then stop pretending like you already have." I walked out, left him standing there in the art studio, alone, left behind the sketches, the silence, and the boy who only knew how to hold me in the dark. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. That night, just after midnight, someone knocked on my dorm door. 3 soft knocks, then 3 more. When I opened it, Lucas was there, soaked from the rain, hoodie clinging to his skin, and in his hand, my sketchbook, the one I thought I'd lost weeks ago. Lucas didn't say a word when I opened the door, just stood there, soaked, breathing hard like he'd run across campus. He held out my sketchbook. "I took it," he said, "weeks ago, the night at the hotel. I saw the drawing, the one of us. I couldn't stop looking at it." I stepped back, let him in. He didn't sit, didn't dry off, just flipped the book open with shaky hands until he landed on the page. "2 guys holding hands under the stars," he said. "It's the first time I ever saw myself the way I wanted to be, not pretending, not hiding." He looked up. I didn't come to make excuses. I came because I'm done running. I stayed quiet. My brain wasn't ready to believe him. I'm not seeing Madison, he added. I never really was. I was just trying to make this go away. You, the way I feel. I thought if I acted normal, I'd stop wanting it. He stepped closer. But nothing worked, except this. You. This is the only thing that feels real. I didn't speak. I didn't have to. He pressed his forehead to mine, hands still trembling. Then he kissed me. It wasn't perfect. It was wet and nervous and full of words neither of us could say. But it was honest. I kissed him back. And this time, I didn't feel like I had to hide. The next morning, I handed him a towel and one of my hoodies. He looked tired but lighter. As he left, he squeezed my hand at the door. I'm not running this time. I believed him, but I also knew the world wouldn't make it easy. Monday came fast. So did the fallout. Practice started like always. Laughter, sneakers squeaking on polished floors, coach barking from the sidelines. During water break, Logan strolled over. He held up his phone, grinning. Didn't know you and Lucas were close like that. My stomach dropped. He turned the screen toward me. A photo, blurry but clear enough. Lucas, standing at my dorm room, wearing my hoodie, his hand on my waist. Someone had taken it. From down the hall. Probably zoomed in. Probably shared it. Laughter spread through the group. Not loud, but sharp. Captain Hayes switching teams, someone muttered. Lucas stood beside me, frozen. Then he stepped forward. Delete it. Logan raised an eyebrow. Chill, man, it's just a joke. I said delete it. The gym went silent. Coach looked over. Something I should know? Lucas turned, shoulders straight, his voice steady. Yeah, there is. He looked at me, then back at the team. I'm with him. No one moved. I like him, Lucas said. This isn't a phase, or a dare, or something I'm ashamed of. So if that's a problem for anyone, say it now. Silence. Even Logan looked stunned. Coach's expression didn't change. He just asked, Can you still win us games? Lucas nodded. Yes, sir. Then I don't care who you hold hands with after practice. That was it. That simple. That fast. But it wasn't over. Some guys kept their distance. Others avoided eye contact. The whispers didn't stop, but they got quieter. Then Rico, always the loudest, walked past me during drills, slapped my shoulder. About time someone around here had the guts to be real. You're not weirded out? I asked. He shrugged. I don't care who you kiss. Just don't miss your free throws. That night, Lucas and I sat under the bleachers after practice. The air was cool. No one else around. He held my hand. Was that terrifying? I asked. Like standing at the edge of a cliff, he said. But when I said it out loud, I felt free. I leaned into him. You know this won't be the last time someone says something, right? He nodded. Let them. He squeezed my hand. I'd rather be seen with you than keep pretending I'm someone I'm not. We didn't explode onto campus as a couple. No big announcements, no matching outfits, no dramatic posts. But things changed. Lucas stopped sitting with his usual group at lunch. He took the seat across from mine. Every day. He didn't say much. Didn't need to. Just being there said enough. He didn't care if people stared. And they did. At first. Whispers in the hallway. Side glances at practice. One guy flat out asked him, Is this for real? Lucas just said, Yeah. Nothing else, no defense, no apologies. It threw people off. The biggest surprise came a week later. Our school hosted a mini exhibit for student art. My professor had submitted one of my pieces without telling me. The sketch of two silhouettes holding hands. The night of the show, I almost didn't go. Then Lucas showed up at my door. You're coming, he said. I want to see what you made. I tried to warn him that people would talk, that someone might say something. He just looked at me. Let them. He wore the hoodie I gave him, the same one from the photo. He didn't try to hide it, didn't take it off once we arrived. We walked into the gallery, together. Some students stared, a few stepped aside. One guy from the baseball team muttered something under his breath. Lucas didn't flinch, just slipped his hand into mine and kept walking. We found the sketch near the back wall. He stood there in silence, staring at it. "That's us," he finally said. I nodded. "I still remember how that night felt," he added. "Quiet, scary, real." I glanced around. "It's different now." He turned to me. "Number, it's still real, just louder." By the following week, the school seemed to settle. Most people stopped whispering. Some moved on. Some didn't care to begin with. But not everyone was quiet. One afternoon, we walked past the gym and saw a flyer taped to the door. Someone had scribbled across it with a marker, "Locker room isn't a dating app." I felt my stomach twist. Lucas ripped it down without saying a word, tossed it in the trash. That night he texted me. "We knew there'd be pushback. Doesn't mean we stop." The tension spilled over into practice the next day. Logan missed a block, cursed, then looked at us and snapped. "Maybe if people focused on the game instead of their boyfriends, we wouldn't suck." Silence. Coach didn't say anything. Neither did the rest of the team. But Lucas did. He walked right up to Logan, calm but firm. "You ever say something like that again, we're going to have a different kind of problem." Rico stepped forward next. "He's right. Chill out." That was the moment the team shifted. Not all of them, but enough. After that, things got quieter again. Lucas posted a photo on his story. It was us sitting on a bench laughing. No filter, no caption, just a real moment. Later that day, someone I didn't even know came up to me outside the dining hall. "I saw the post," he said. "Thanks for putting it out there. Makes it easier for the rest of us." I didn't know what to say, just nodded. Lucas saw it too, that people were noticing, that maybe what we were doing was more than just about us. But not everything got easier. There were days when someone stared too long. Days when Lucas wondered if scouts would pull back. Days when I caught him looking unsure, like the weight was catching up. On those days, we went to the bleachers, our spot, the one place that always felt like ours. We'd sit in silence, sometimes talk, sometimes just breathe. One night after a long week, he pulled out something from his bag, my old sketchbook. He flipped it open to a new page. "I tried drawing," he said. "Don't laugh." I looked. It was us again. The proportions were off, the lines a little crooked, but it was clear what it was. Two players on a court, holding hands. Scoreboard behind them read, "Home, 22, guest, 0. Below it, he wrote, "We already won." I laughed. I didn't mean to. I just couldn't help it. Then I kissed him in the middle of the bleachers. No one around, no fear, just us. The next morning at practice, no one said anything about it, but I noticed the difference. The guys passed to me more. Coach gave me a full run during drills. Lucas threw me a perfect assist mid-game and said, "Eyes up, Foster." I caught it, scored. As I jogged back, Rico slapped my hand. "Guess love doesn't ruin your shot after all." It wasn't perfect. Some days were still hard. Some people still looked twice. But for the first time, we weren't hiding. We didn't have to. The season was winding down. 2 games left. Playoffs within reach. Practices got longer. Pressure built. But something had shifted. I wasn't invisible anymore. Coach called my name more often. Lucas passed to me without hesitation. Rico joked with me between drills. Guys who once avoided eye contact now clapped my back after good plays. Not everyone had changed, but enough had. One Friday, we played our toughest rival. Packed gym, noise vibrating the floor, cameras from local stations, recruiters watching. Before the game, I stood by the bench, nerves pounding. Lucas stepped beside me. "You ready?" he asked. I hesitated. "Are you?" He smiled. "Been ready since the day I stopped hiding." That night, we both played like we had nothing left to lose. Lucas led with confidence. I backed him up with everything I had. At one point, we locked eyes mid-game. No signal, just trust. He passed. I scored. The crowd roared. We won by 2 points. Coach called it the best game of the season. After the buzzer, while everyone was celebrating, Lucas pulled me into a hug. Right there on the court. Cameras still rolling. People still watching. He didn't care. Neither did I. The next day, our story was everywhere. Someone posted the game clip online. Lucas hugging me at center court. It got shared, reshared, commented on. Some messages were kind, some weren't, but one stood out. It was from a player at another school. I saw your game, your story. I've been scared for a long time. Not anymore. Thank you, Lucas read it over my shoulder. That, he said, means more than any win. A few days later, Coach asked Lucas to stay after practice. I waited outside the gym, pacing, heart racing. What if the recruiters had backed off? What if there were consequences? Lucas came out 20 minutes later, silent. I couldn't read his face. Well, I asked. They want me, he said. Still. I exhaled. But they had questions about the photo, about the attention. And I told them the truth, that I play better when I'm honest, that I'm not going to separate who I am from how I play. He looked at me. They respected that. The next week he got the offer. Full ride. Division I. He deserved it. And this time he didn't pretend to celebrate alone. He pulled me into the team photo after practice, put his arm around my shoulders. No hesitation. A few nights before graduation, we went back to our spot under the bleachers. We hadn't been there in a while. Lucas pulled something from his bag. A small framed copy of his drawing, the one from my sketchbook, the crooked lines, the scoreboard. We already won. He said it between us. This isn't just ours anymore, he said. It's for the next kid too scared to speak, the one watching from the sidelines. I nodded. Someone like I was. He took my hand. I used to think the unthinkable was falling for you, he said. But it wasn't. It was thinking I could survive without ever trying. I looked at him. You don't have to survive alone anymore. We sat there as the campus lights flickered on in the distance. For once there was no noise, no fear, just two people who chose to be seen. Final note to the viewer. Some stories don't need explosions to be powerful. Ours unfolded one choice at a time. If this story made you feel something, if you've ever stayed quiet when your heart was loud, know this, you're not alone. There's a Lucas somewhere learning to be brave. There's a Noah waiting to be seen. And maybe that story is yours. Drop your story in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Someone out there needs to hear this.